Welcome cloud gamers to another Stadia news video, and while the news hasn't been as frequent lately, we've got a lot to talk about in this video, and some of it's quite controversial in a few aspects. So in today's video, we're going to discuss a series of topics from Serious Sam 4 coming to Stadia, and what the heck happened to Mafia and that Stadia release, and the 1-month Pro trial change upcoming. You'll want to stick around for all these topics, as I have some things to say that might not be the most positive things to mention. So with that said, let's jump into this video. Like always, smash that like button and sub to the channel for more Stadia news. But let's jump into the biggest news of the week, and that is Serious Sam 4 has been announced to come in August. The sequel to Serious Sam 3 that came out all the way back in 2011, so almost a decade later. And well, it comes with some interesting news, and that they have signed a 1-year exclusivity deal with Google Stadia. But that exclusivity deal only extends itself to the other consoles, not PC, which it will also arrive around the same date. Now, before I talk about the game itself, let's talk about this exclusivity deal that Stadia has signed with Devolver Digital. The details look to entail a 1-year deal to keep it off the Xbox One and PS4 according to Devolver, and after that period of exclusivity, it will be coming to the current gen consoles. Now, we saw something like this last year with Darksiders Genesis, though it wasn't a 1-year deal but just a few months. A bigger third-party title with some hype behind it getting some exclusivity, and of course not a lot of people were excited about this, as the PS4, Xbox, and Switch owners collectively rolled their eyes at the word Stadia exclusive. Now, Serious Sam isn't exactly a super huge franchise. It's got a niche but loyal community and quite a few people looking forward to the title. But the bigger questions are exclusives, especially third-party titles, and if it's a good thing for Stadia. I, for one, have never liked exclusivity. First-party titles make sense, of course, but to see it in a third-party title doesn't excite me. Now, we've seen this trend over and over, and have seen it in things like Epic Games and Steam, with Epic Games getting these 1-year exclusive deals done to keep some third-party titles off of Steam. This has been a trend for some time now, and I hate to see it, and I probably will never advocate for it, but I do get it overall. These deals tend to give quite a bit of guaranteed money up front, and with some of these developmental costs rising, and the prices still staying the same on games, I don't blame a single developer or publisher for taking these deals. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I would be hypocritical to hate it in one area like I do with Epic Games and Steam, and then cheer it on for Stadia, so I won't do that. But what I will say is this: whatever you feel on this subject, and I know a lot of you have opinions on it, so please let me know down in the comments. This obviously doesn't hurt Stadia, and as much as I despise exclusive deals in general, but it will bring some people over to try the platform who can't afford a gaming PC. So for that, I will cheer Stadia and the possible new users. Now, another interesting thing to note here is that it looks as though, for sure now in my eyes, that Google does consider Stadia as a console and sees the other consoles as its competition and not PC or PC gamers. And I think that's correct, as you won't convince PC gamers to ditch their high horse ever. So I'm glad there is more clarity on that subject. Now, as for Serious Sam 4, the game itself, man oh man, they are claiming up to 100,000 enemies on the screen at once, which is pretty mind-blowing. And it makes sense considering that this is a PC and Stadia game first title, which would be the most powerful hardware to pull that off. And it's bringing some more of the classic crazy mayhem shooting that we've gotten to love with the franchise. This easily now has fallen in my top 10 titles that I'm excited for this year, just outside that top 5, and it will be a must for me to own personally. Be sub to this channel for an early access first look gameplay video down the line, as I totally plan to showcase this game to you guys. But moving on to the next topic, we have Mafia Trilogy, and what the heck happened there? A week ago, I reported that there was a chance we might see this come to Stadia, and while a lot of us were under that impression, that the not so stealth drop as they were trying to accomplish did indeed happen worldwide to all the consoles and PC, except Stadia and Epic Games. The Mafia Trilogy features all 3 Mafia games in their definitive edition with some new bells and whistles, with Mafia 2 and 3 being available now, and the first Mafia being rebuilt from the ground up and scheduled to come August 28th. But what on earth happened to the Stadia version? Well, according to this bit on the 2K website, it was delayed due to COVID-19. Now, if you're wondering how COVID can cause a delay, it's due to the fact that a lot of the game developers the past few months have not been meeting at a central place to work on developing their games, but instead have been working from home and getting situated to this reality. So in some cases, games have been and will be getting delayed in the future. It's unfortunate to see the Stadia version have this delay, and it does make me wonder, why exactly did this happen? Have they been working on this for over a year or two and just started working on the port for Stadia the last 6 to 8 months? And of course, how long will this delay happen for? It also begs yet another question. Is this why we didn't see the Stadia logo at the end of the main Mafia Trilogy trailer? Destroy All Humans just released a recent trailer with the Stadia logo missing at the end as well. Will that also be delayed? These are questions I hope to gather in the coming weeks, especially in the case of the big Mafia 1 release on August 28th. I was bummed out like the rest of you, especially since this was a much needed title right now, as the Stadia releases have been slow for the month of May, and I was personally looking forward to diving into number 2 and 3 since I have never played them. But either way, like always, I will let you guys know when I see some more news on this, so stay tuned for a further development. The last news that I'm going to touch on is something I wasn't exactly too happy to see, but the Stadia team announced that on June 3rd they will be changing the current Stadia Pro offer from the current 2 months you get free to 1 month for the new users. No explanation was given, and personally I wasn't shocked to see this. It's not really a big radar move, but one way that I've been able to convince family and friends to try Stadia is selling them on 2 months. Essentially, you get 12 games free, and 1 free month guarantees at least another 2 games. But with 2 months, I've been able to make that pitch you'll get a minimum of another 4 games. So even more on top of the current 12 that you get. So I was a bit bummed and hoped that this was something they weren't going to change for at least another few more months, and maybe last all the way until the end of the year. With that said, I know abuse of the system can certainly take place, and I'm not delusional to that fact, but this was obviously a noteworthy mention to the news. If you happen to have a friend or family who hasn't tried Stadia yet, getting them on before that June date would be key, so they get more free games to try out in the future and can be convinced on how awesome Stadia is. But with all that said, let me know down in the comments any thoughts on today's Stadia news video. As like usual, I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say. Consider subbing to this channel for more Stadia coverage of games and news, and smash that like button. Be sure to check out my live streams on this channel every Saturday at 11 AM Pacific, as well as my Twitch where I will be streaming every Monday and Wednesdays in the future. Thank you guys for watching. I'm Sunny, and I'll see you guys in the cloud.